Here's an example of one thing that might be very confusing to customers. But in the volume at Starbucks right now. Okay, so if on Google you search for Apollo Roofing Erie, which is one of the areas where a storm just happened, which apparently is in Longmont, which is one of the areas that Apollo Roofing naturally exists. Even on Google right now, you search for Apollo Roofing Erie, it goes to apollo-roofing.construction up here, as you see. But on the right, if you click over here and look at the website, it goes to Apollo Roofing Longmont, which is this competitor that has came up over the years, who has nothing to do with Apollo Roofing whatsoever. You know, this is Apollo Roofing and Repairs LLC. This is the website that I built for him. I mean, his name is Apollo. Whereas, if we, kind of backtrack and we wonder, okay, well, so what's this right here, Apollo Roofing Longmont? Well, it goes to the Longmont website, which is interesting because Apollo owned ApolloRoofingDenver.com, but he also did business as far as Fort Collins. He was licensed in Longmont, he's licensed in Fort Collins, licensed in Loveland, so he's licensed in these locations that Apollo Roofing's already taken. As you see from, the website that I built, Apollo, of course, I'm not going to add like a bunch of different additional phrases. It's already too long, so even like Apollo Roofing Longmont wouldn't make sense. Just like what Apollo Roofing did here, they put in their logo Apollo Roofing, but they're not actually Apollo Roofing, obviously, and they can't be Apollo Roofing because if we just search for, Apollo Roofing itself, what are we going to find? Well, eventually we'll find a national competing businesses. That's kind of the irony, though, is that right now we see Apollo Roofing Longmont competing, but then right beneath we see Apollo Roofing and Repairs. The new one, the duplicate, is still removed. So Apollo Roofing has Apollo Roofing and it has Apollo Roofing in Loveland, so they've claimed these two names. They're clearly competing with Apollo Roofing and Repairs, which has been marked as a duplicate. I could show you that from his personal account. And if we scroll down, though, the first website result actually does go straight to Apollo Roofing and Repairs out of Aurora, which is where Apollo has been established, and that is the first result that has been showing up on Google, I would estimate, for years. As a professional SEO expert, I can't imagine that Apollo recently established this, because right now he doesn't even have an active website. So if he then is, let's see if I can get my camera. It's not. If Apollo is already ranking number 1, and if you click this on Yelp, it shows Apollo's business hours, it shows his work, it shows his phone number, it shows his website somewhere, I believe, or maybe it says request a requote. So Apollo already has these reviews here, and he might not have these reviews, but he's been in this location for years. And that's the thing, is that Apollo's customers aren't English speaking, so why would they be coming to Yelp to review? And then, then that's where things really get dirty, is you realize Apollo hasn't trusted his tech people that have been helping him. And then, now if you look more carefully, you see that it makes kind of a lot of sense, because English-speaking people seem to be creating direct competition with Apollo, even though they would have already known he was in the area, because he actually has continued to build websites, and he was already on Yelp. and he's already been on Yellow Pages, and he's had an established business presence for years. So to pretend that that didn't exist when we already offer, hail damage and insurance claims assistance and gutters and siding and roofing, we actually offer more services than this and all the services. So this is clearly direct competition. And if we wondered who made this, it said, if I recall, it was some guy named Matt K. Can't really find any info on him like I did before, but I will look that up later. Anyway, it's pretty clear that he's using the existing confusion and presence from Apollo Roofing and Repairs. This business has only been in business for 5 years, it says, or 5+ years, and same with this one, it says for 5+ years. Whereas, if we go to the Wayback Machine and we look up Apollo Roofing Denver.com, we can find there's a result in 2016, as early as 2016. And so in 2016, which is longer than 5 years, which we can actually establish this business as far back as 1997. This is just one example that the Apollo Roofing that's competing in Longmont, Loveland, etc., is clearly infringing upon the presence by creating confusion and directly stealing visitor traffic and presence. I mean, they were able to start a company called Apollo Roofing, where if you looked it up on Yelp, it showed that it had a high rating. And during this time, it seems that Apollo's management of his business, from the tech people that he paid, may have been a little bit poor over the years, and so people haven't given him access to his own work, and so due to that, things have broken. And so I suppose there may be several potential lawsuits over that if we go through and read through his emails, but holding accountability to these web developers is a joke compared to holding accountability to the copycat Apollo Roofing. What on earth? Who would, seriously, the only kind of person that would have the gall to do that is this guy. I mean, we'll see him in person, so I don't have to show you a photo right now. I found one on his website, but I'm sure the current scenario will speak for itself. I'm going to continue to promote Apollo's business, though, because he needs sales, and I need to get him sales in order to make revenue. And so, of course, I'm going to make sure to get his existing customers and previous customers to add their reviews to this new Google Maps entry. But the fact is that the Google Maps entry may likely exist far previous to this one. There's a duplicate one that I found that was flagged as duplicate years ago that is probably flagged as duplicate because people saw Apollo Roofing here. But that's the thing, is Apollo Roofing already exists. And so this company, there's no doubt in my mind that this company has stepped on the toes of an innocent man, an undeserving, multilingual, English-speaking, native Spanish speaker who does not deserve this type of treatment and does not deserve to be attacked in his own land, on his own property, in his own town where he's already established business. And to just come to be aware of this when this competitor has copied him for apparently 10 years. Somewhere on the website it says it's been in business for 10 years. I can't even imagine that's true, but I will do some research. I suppose we can check ourselves, using the Wayback Machine and various tools. we'll take a look and we'll go into things further. I don't want to bog this down anymore right now. My main point for this video was to show that if you search for Apollo Roofing, the competitors show up. It's really confusing. Apollo Roofing and Repairs was already in business before that. If we search for, Apollo Roofing, Erie, the competitors show up only, even though that's where actually Apollo is. And if you search for, Apollo Roofing, Aurora, you see what I mean. Search for Apollo Roofing, Aurora, you see a competitor, that makes sense. And then you see a copycat. This is just unacceptable. Then you finally see Apollo Roofing and Repairs. Then you see Apollo Roofing, another copycat.